My name is Steve Layton, and I travel the world finding amazing and delicious coffee for you to drink at home. Some make coffee difficult to understand and complicated, but here it's my job to make it easy and fun and tell you what's in my mug.
Hello everybody and welcome to In My Mug episode 401. A break from the new format, even though it's one in, because we're going to be doing it on location, because I'm not in that. Mind you, my brick does look a bit like the funky new studio. But as always, I'm your host Stephen Lane. Welcome to In My Mug, and I'm here at Esters, which is in Stoke, Newington in North London. One of our fantastic wholesale customers who we've worked with for a few years now, and I just fancy doing one on the road. If you wonder why I'm in a South African rugby top, it also has the name on the back. This was given to me by Wayne, the South African barista champion that used La Churia, which is from Colombia, from Pedro Claros, and as a thank you, he bought me a South Africa shirt, which is actually a very good fit, which is scary for a rugby shirt. Maybe I'm getting really, really fat. So we're going to talk about this week's coffee. There's none of the faff with the news and all those things, because I recorded this before I recorded 400. Yeah, go figure. It's all very confusing. But because I'm in Rwanda at the moment, so I needed to record something before I went to Rwanda. Keeping up with this. Good, I'm glad you're with me. So this week's coffee is from Kenya. It's from the Nyeri region of Kenya. It's near to the Chinga Valley. There's a Chinga River in Nyeri. It's around about 25 minutes outside of the centre of Nyeri. So it's actually quite close. And it is a cooperative called Othaya. Being grain, they call us that. Othaya, and Othaya is it's a group of 3 washing stations. This being the Chinga washing station, and unusually, and particularly unusually for Kenya, it's a naturally processed coffee. So this is our 2nd year of having it, and 3 years ago when I went to Kenya, we kind of had a conversation about, wouldn't it be fun to do this? You know, do you fancy like having a place so we could buy some more coffee from you and do a natural? And it's not something unusual in Kenya to do, but it's unusual to do it for export. So it's always the real poor quality kind of commodity grade stuff that, like, you know, is left over, floaters, kind of terrible bits. And they looked at me like I've gone crazy and gone, you want to pay for this to happen to the coffee? And I was like, yeah, let's try it. And we had to make a promise there and then that we would buy it regardless of taste. When it arrived, I was super excited. It was very different, and I don't think they necessarily got it so much. So when I went back again last year, we sat down and had a conversation about the process, and it was good, but we could definitely tell it could be better. So we sat down with the mill manager and said, okay, this is what you need to do. These are the coffees you need to use. These are the bits you need to fetch. And they were like, are you sure you want to do this with this coffee? And this year's one, I am so pleased that we got them to do it. They've really tightened up their whole process. They've made it much more keener, leaner, and they've made it much more quality driven. They've paid a lot more attention to it, and they've taken on lots of the feedback that we gave them. For Kenya, this is mind-blowing, to find a cooperative that'll do that. Mind-blowing that we could find a cooperative that is so big. I think it's 887 members in the cooperative, so it's a big cooperative. But they've really embraced it. And when we cupped it with them last year, when they did the first one, they were amazed that it was Kenyan coffee, but they were amazed at how tasty it was compared to the other stuff that they've done in the past. And I think that kind of motivated them a little bit to make this coffee better. And they really have done a fantastic job with it. Yeah, the facts and figures, it's called Kenya Othaya Chinga. It is from the Chinga washing station and the Othaya cooperative. It is grown at 1,800 to 2,000 metres above sea level. It is an SL28, SL34, which are very common varietals for Kenya. You've heard me talk about those a lot. It is a naturally processed coffee, sun-dried on raised beds, and yeah, I guess what we should do is get some coffee and get somebody to talk about Esters, because it'd be really cool to talk about here. Where the coffee's actually going to be as well, if you want to come and try it here. If you could in the North London area, you should come in and you'll be able to try it. But I'll be back with you in just a moment. Hello everyone, welcome to the map bit. As you can see, we're up and away, but unusually we're going to Africa. Wow, we don't normally go to Africa. And we're going to zoom down, to Kenya. But before we do that, Kenyans drink lots of chai tea and not very much coffee. That's actually not 100% true, because they are starting to drink more coffee and consume more and more. And we see lots of coffee shops open up in Nairobi in particular. But here we're going down, and here we can kind of get an idea of the layouts. The highest point is Mount Kenya, which is 5,200 metres above sea level, and the Indian Ocean, of course, is the lowest point. But let's zoom down to Chinga. So we can see it's on a fairly flat place, but this is the mill. This is where things are, the things are processed, and everybody brings their cherries down to. So a lot of the coffee will be grown much higher than here. So here we have some of the washing tanks. And here we have the KCC export staff that help me select this coffee, who are great friends. And here we have a lovely sign of Othaya. Here we have another one. This is the gates into the mill, the dry mill, not the wet mill. The wet mill is Chinga. And then we can zoom out. You can see it's not super far from Nyeri, which is probably known as the coffee capital of Kenya. That was hopefully the interesting map bit. Okay, so I'm back. I have coffee, and I have a guest. Would you like to introduce yourself to everybody on In My Mug?
I am Jack, one of the owners of Esters. Yeah, Nia is unfortunately missing today.
Yeah.
Day off. Very rare.
Days off?
Yeah, we have days off. So
wow, things must be good if you get
we have
days
to
off.
apologise.
So you've been open now for is it 4 years? 3 years? It's been a long
It's
time.
like just over 2.5.
2.5 years. Wow.
Yeah.
So
it's a bit longer actually.
it does. It feels
But
super
it's also
long.
weird to be home.
Tell people on the screen where they can find you, and tell the website so they can kind of find directions, or your Facebook
We
page.
are in Stoke Newington. If you see the road behind us, we're kind of parallel to Stoke Newington Church Street. So you've got the Whole Foods on that street, and there's loads of cafes, but we're just tucked away between Church Street and the High Street. So yeah, it's a nice little quiet area.
I think the first time I came was about 18 months ago, and it was on a Saturday morning.
Yeah.
And we were banging the door to come in.
Yeah.
It was and we thought, oh wow, this is great. We've got a really comfy chair, and with about 15 minutes, the place was rammed.
Yeah, and then the whole crew turned up.
Yeah.
Remember Nico and Telescope?
Exactly. Yeah. It was amazing.
That was cool.
So, the coffee's obviously amazing. I've had a cappuccino earlier, and I was actually talking to the barista, and your cappuccino was phenomenal. Honestly, properly enjoyed it. But you're kind of well known for your food as well, aren't you?
Yeah, definitely. I like to think people come for coffee, but they definitely also come for food. It's kind of like 50-50, but there's those that it's like a magic combo.
I think you've nailed the brunch thing for me. It's
Yeah.
I mean, brunch here in London is massive anyway, isn't it? It is a big thing, and it's becoming a big thing everywhere. But when you first in this kind of environment, you've got a lot of residential houses around as well. I can just imagine waking up on a Saturday morning and going, "I'm going to Esters."
We sometimes think we wish we create the cafe for ourselves. If we had the weekend off, I think we would also come to somewhere else. But obviously, no one like this invention really. Maybe one day. That's what we're going to do next. Make a cafe for ourselves.
Well, you've made one that I like, so thank you. You've not made it for you, you've made it for me, so it's good. Because that's what I want, I want good food and I want good partner as well. And you can kind of get the two, it's amazing, and it's rare. It really is a rare thing. So give us an idea of your kind of menus as you come in. So you do brewed coffee, so you've got the Chemex, you've got cappuccinos, espresso, and you've got a selection of coffees. You also have guest coffees as well.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we always have 2 filters. We've always had 2 filters, and always hand brewed. So we dabbled with a bit of batch brew. We borrowed a Marco off you once for a little bit, but it never quite worked for us. And I think people really were drawn to the stuff, and it was kind of how we kind of brought people into drinking filter, and it's really popular. This is person's blessing. 25 filters on a weekend. Starting to pour it away.
And give me an idea of the food menu.
It's kind of catering to the surroundings. Like people are really into like a broad range of stuff. Like lots of vegetarian, but not solely vegetarian.
Yeah.
People kind of like eat in an informed way, and so like vegetable heavy, but kind of go quite meaty at the weekend when people want to like kind of like splash out. But yeah, it's kind of like I think we need to have like staples, and it's like it's healthy, but it's interesting and can be like indulgent at the same time. There's people like come every day, so we need to like have something that people want to eat every day.
And what's your favourite food on the menu? What do you have at lunchtime?
We yeah, people are often jealous of our staff lunches because we're like testing stuff out. But I had our aubergine dish today, which is aubergine with radish, smoked ricotta, and quinoa. So there's like lots of like lots of super local ingredients. We like work with a few like really local suppliers, as well as some like sort of interesting some Ottolenghi inspired sort of stuff, like Middle Eastern sort of thing.
Quinoa is something I never really got until I went to Bolivia.
Yeah.
And it was just like, oh my god, it was with everything. And
Yeah.
it's delicious.
Actually,
It's
I'd love to see it there. But they there's someone growing in Essex, which is amazing. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, I
But I
didn't
think
know that.
they sourced the seeds like 20 years ago, but they couldn't grow it here because of a drying sort of thing. Quite relevant to coffee, really. It has to be dried at a certain temperature, but it's not obviously the same in the UK. But they had to like crossbreed it or selectively breed it so that it wouldn't have this certain husk on it.
It's fantastic.
Probably
I'm
like
learning.
getting it
This
all
is
wrong,
learning.
but
This
yeah,
is
it's
cool.
very like it's all farming and stuff.
So,
coffee.
what times are you open from? Because we want people to come in. We want you guys to come in.
Do not come on a Monday. We're sleeping. We're not here. We're closed.
Okay.
People still try and come on Mondays. Always been closed on Monday. But 8 till 5 Monday to Friday.
Yeah.
9 till 5 Saturday, and 10 till 4 on Sunday. A little bit lying.
Fantastic.
My short burst on a Sunday, which is
And before we start drinking the coffee and stop talking about here,
Yeah.
I kind of, as you say, I'm keen to talk about here. The jams.
jams.
So you're making your own jams here as well, aren't you?
Yeah, we've been doing. Well, I actually started with marmalade. I've done it at home a few times. I haven't really made jam. The jam is actually relatively easy depending on which fruit you're using.
Yeah.
It's all about pectin and like setting. But yeah, we just do stuff that's in season, and like there's so much rhubarb around at the moment, and there's a like lovely local lady who gardens for her mother-in-law, and like every time the rhubarb grows up, you get like 6 kilos of it, and it's just like she comes in this like monster haul of rhubarb. So we're like pairing that with raspberry at the moment. Just doing some of that right now, actually.
And as I
Probably
came in
could
the shop,
smell
I
it.
could
We had some
smell the
of it.
rhubarb. You could
Yeah.
actually smell the rhubarb.
Yeah.
It was like super
Must be a
strong.
nice welcome.
Yeah, no, it is. And you've got blood orange on at the moment as
We
well.
have, yeah, with blood orange marmalade.
That's
Really good.
Yeah.
Really good.
I was like, honestly, I only come to the place of what I like, and like this is somewhere that like if it was in more England, because it's actually a bit of a
Yeah,
mission to get
yeah.
here, but it's worth the
locals
mission.
really,
It is
yeah.
worth the mission. No, it isn't, because it's worth the mission. It really is. Like, and particularly on a Saturday. Saturday is your day. Should we try the coffee?
Yes.
So I was explaining to all these people on here about that this is a natural and how unusual a natural from Kenya is. This was something we had to beg the cooperative to do, and it's the second year of doing it. And I was saying to you when I came in, like, it's not like any of the other Kenyans, and it is super different. Last year we had, my descriptor was boot polish mixed with Pontefract cakes.
It's a hard sell.
It is a
The
hard
boot
sell,
polish one,
but it
isn't
tasted like boot
But
polish.
people have those kind of descriptions of wine, and
Yeah.
you're like, there's like a cut hose, a freshly cut hose, something like wine. You're like, but that's a kind of a refined thing.
But I'm super well known for my crazy, stupid
Yeah.
descriptor, so it's kind of my thing. But this one, it's kind of got a lot cleaner. And what we did, I'm telling you again, you'll have to listen again. But like,
Telling me.
yeah, I
Honestly.
know. But they might have missed it because they don't listen to me. They only look when they fast forward to somebody interesting being on. But we've helped them with the process, so we fed back to them what we think they should do differently from our experience of naturals, because they were asking.
Yeah.
And
So they thought you were a bit mad when you asked them to do that.
they thought you were absolutely crazy,
Yeah.
and they didn't really know what they were. They treated it like they treat their floaters, the kind of stuff that's not very good.
Yeah.
So they don't really pay a lot of attention to it. They don't turn it very often. So they've turned this a little bit more. They've actually been more selective with the picking, the post and pre-picking, and sorting. And I think you can tell it in the cup. It's still got that like big licorice Pontefract cake taste to it for me. And like those little, you know what I mean by the Pontefract cakes, right?
Yeah.
Not everyone does. And and it
I
just
used to really like them when I was a kid.
yeah,
It's
no,
weird
me too.
thing.
And it's a weird kid thing for a kid to
Yeah.
like as well. And I was like, I used to eat them all the time. That boot polish thing has gone,
Yeah.
unfortunately. There's a shoulder is in there. There's like a little hint, but it's just like, for me, it's just licorice. It's like licorice Pontefract cake with a like, little bit of a sugar finish to it as well. It's got a lot sweeter. I just love that we can have a Kenyan that is just different. It's kind of like out there. And I love that they're doing it for us. We have a deal with them that we do 30 bags of it, and we have to buy all 30 bags regardless of its good. Like, this is the second year it's paid off. I'm scared one year that I'm just going to go, oh no, what they'll do with it. But I think this is delicious, and I think it's nice to have something unique. And all 5 of our Kenyans, you were saying earlier you've had all 5 Kenyans in. Every one of them is different, and it's just so exciting to be able to do that. So, listen, thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you.
This is the first time I've done this in the new, because our new format started, and it's the first time I've done one on the road with the new format. So it's kind of cool. It's kind of good.
Nice.
And it's probably the longest there will ever be for quite a while. Thank you for joining me. Thank you lot for joining me. And do remember, life is still too short for bad coffee. I still say it.
It is.
Can't let it go. Can't let it go.
I think it's true. Maybe.